Welcome back to another Video Nation movie review. This time it's Karate Kid Legends. The first thing I want to address is, yes, it's been out for a while. It might even not even be in some theaters near you. One thing I noticed after watching the movie is there's not a lot of people that talked about it. I don't know if it was critically put down or something, but for my personal opinion, I had a blast with this movie. So yes, if you're asking, is it a good movie? My answer is yes. Granted, there's some problems in it, but we'll get to that in a minute. So right now is my spoiler-free review part of the video, and where I go over some things you might need to know. Story-wise, it's a good little story. Yeah, there's some little issues with pacing, I'll just go ahead and tell you, but other than that, it's a fine little movie. For religious purposes, there's nothing to watch out for, really. Maybe, you know, some cussing, maybe a little bit here or there. I can't really remember. There's some tradition things in there because of their culture that I don't really know how much it has a religious impact on it, but nothing that really stood out to me as, you know, blatantly like, you know, denying Christ or anything like that. So, you know, religiously speaking, I think it's fine going in. So nothing stood out to me that I seen. I did go get concessions a few times. So if you're a Christian and you want to, you know if you can go see it, I think it's fine. You know, but that's always up to you. That's always a personal thing between you and God. So keep that in mind. But what I can see, I think it's fine to go to theaters to watch. Moving on from that, now we're getting to the part of the video is spoiler time, because once again, I've said before, the reason you come here is to hear somebody talk about the movie and the characters and some spoilers in it. So we're getting to that in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There's no real major spoilers to give. The movie is a very straightforward movie. The movie's good, but it's not surprising. It's very predictable, which some people may find an issue with, but that's what I was coming into expecting. I didn't want something groundbreaking, throw me a curveball. I wanted to enjoy a movie about a kid that knows karate. So you got to fight in a tournament and be the best fighter in the tournament. That's what I wanted, and that's what I got. So for me, I was happy. So let's get into the things I liked about the movie. The first thing is the cast. The cast was great. You had the main dude, I think his name's Lee. He was a great actor. He was a great fighter. Also, he reminded me a lot of Jackie Chan's fighting style, which is kind of a lot of like things don't go right, but you pick up where you're at and you fight your way through it. You know, his fighting was very reminiscent of Jackie's. I don't know if they taught him that way or that's just the type of fighter he is or how he just acts. But anyways, I thought it was really good. The kid did great. And I mean, the acting too. He was a great actor. Kids' actors are typically good. I know they get a bad rap, but this guy really did good. And the girlfriend, Maya, I think's her name, she was good in it. I hope we see her continue with him. He had a best friend in the movie too, which was a funny side character. I hope they don't just forget them and the next movie, like, oh, hey, here's a new girl from Japan or something, you know, like they do in other movies. You know, they travel somewhere and he meets a new girl. I hope they stick her around, because her and her dad, who I think his name was Victor, they had a great chemistry with this kid, so I want them to continue on. Also, the story, I thought the story was good. It's a simple story, some different elements in there, and we'll get to that in a second, but I liked it. I thought it was pretty straightforward. Kid don't want to fight because what happened to his brother. Kid truly wants to fight, but he feels like he shouldn't for his mom's sake. Something happens, he needs to fight because Victor got hurt because of him, he feels like, and you know, he froze, and so now he's fighting not just for his honor and what he wants to do, he's doing it for someone else. Story-wise was good. There's great themes in it of doing what's right, even when you feel like, you know, you shouldn't or you don't want to. Now getting into things that are a little bit mixed. Okay, the pacing in the movie is, okay, it's a little fast. Could have been a little bit longer of a movie. Some things could have been stretched out. Yeah, the pacing just, it's like they just sped up some stuff they didn't need to. Another thing that is clear if you're watching the movie, there are 2 movies in this one movie, and I mean it very clearly. If you didn't know, there was reports when the movie was being made that the story was going to be the Karate Kid was a kid that was a master, and he was going to teach this guy how to defend himself from these thugs trying to collect money, and that was in the movie, just not exactly the way it was pitched. And I'm sure that was the movie going forward. It was going to be about some great Kung Fu master kid coming to America, teaching this guy how to fight, and that whole movie was going to be evolved around that. But they probably thought, well, Cobra Kai, money, we need Danny, we need a tie-in, so let's fix it to make Danny appear. And that's when the story shifts to Lee having to learn to fight using karate versus Kung Fu, which the movie did not do a good job of showing the difference between the two, if you ask me. I took karate when I was younger. To me, Kung Fu and karate always seemed very hand in hand. I think Kung Fu is more fluent with their body movement, the way they move their legs, the way their arms. I don't know how to explain it. Kung Fu is very fluent, and I think karate is more precise and very more strike. I might be wrong, but that's the way I think of Kung Fu versus karate. I think Kung Fu is like water, and I think karate is more like force and more precision and more powerhouse. Does that make any sense? Anyways, moving on. Yeah, so the movie, they bring in Danny, and it's him teaching Lee karate. Did he have to be in this movie? Yes and no. Does he add much to the story in reality? No. They could have cut his character out and it'd been just about the same film. But I know why they did it, and they had to because they wanted to tie this to not only making this seem like not a sequel to the 2011, 10 Karate Kid. They wanted that to be a spinoff. They also wanted to tie in Cobra Kai, and I'm glad they did because it just expands the world. It gives an opportunity for later movies to bring in some characters from Cobra Kai, some fan favorites that we can bring in, and so I'm glad that he was in it. Yes, you could have took him out, but just to have the tie-in to Cobra Kai and kind of tighten up some things by the end of it, which I'll get to in a minute, I'm glad they brought him in. Now, this is another positive that I like they did in this movie, which most movies never do. They address something when I had an issue with it. In the beginning of the movie, when Lee's mom comes to him, they're speaking their language, and then they go to English. The mom does. And he's still speaking their language, and then the mom keeps speaking to him in English, and he's like, why are you talking to me in English? And she's like, new city, because we're moving, we got to get used to talking their language. So you may be wondering, well, he can speak English really good, and so can the mom. Why is that? The movie takes time to point it out and be like, look, the mom studied in America, he came along with her, and that's why their English is so good. They've been here before. This is not their first time in America. So little things like that I really appreciate. I hate when movies do something, there's a giant plot hole, and you're like, come on, address it. So that was neat. Yes, there is a Cobra Kai end credit, mid credit, whatever scene. Yes, Johnny shows up at the end of the movie with Daniel and Johnny standing there. They're getting a pizza from the pizza shop that Victor owns, sent to them. And that answered the biggest question from Cobra Kai, personally for me, was, is this friendship going to last? And this movie answered, yes, it does. So I'm happy. If for that reason alone, Daniel being in this movie was worth it for me, to have that little bit of a question I had answered. Will their friendship last? And it seems like it has, and it's growing. So I'm pretty happy with that. A little great end credit scene. So Karate Kid Legends, Video Nation's decided it's worth a watch. Enjoyment may vary. That means it's a good movie. Go watch it. You might not like it as much as I did, but you should still go try to watch it. I think it's a good movie. I think most people will enjoy it. Go into it knowing it's rushed, but other than that, it's a pretty fun time. By the way, I forgot all about this. There's the whole thing about the dragon kick is his like move. You know, in every Karate Kid movie, they got the move, you know, the crane kick and all that. And this was his thing, the dragon kick or whatever. No. It was the 1-inch punch. That should have been his final move. Him sitting there close, calm, and you know, something like that. That should have been the final move, not the dragon kick thing. But I know why they did it because, you know, it's already a pretty well-known move and everything. But anyways, did you see the movie? Did you like the movie? If so, tell me about it in the comments. Always be respectful. Anyways, thank you for watching, and see y'all next time.